Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode on Rotten Block. It's raining, it's spring, it's time for some spring cleaning. Our base and our storage is an absolute mess, with shulker boxes everywhere. We've got chests and random farms and things like that strewn all over the place, not to mention the number of mobs that are just laying around here. Oh, there's a gift here. Oh, that's nice of... I wonder who that... I don't know who that was, but thank you. That's really nice. Alrighty folks, I think we've got a packed episode ahead of us, so in the interest of keeping things moving, and because it's spring, it's time for some cleanup.
I came to the city as a cyclone, and I loved it like a strike of lightning. I'm all shook up like some pink champagne. They got poured into a paper cup. Then we rocked and we rolled like a rodeo show in my fresh cut new day suit. You can give my regards to Broadway, 'cause I'm getting down on Music Road. Riding off into the sunset with my blue guitar by my side. You and me and rock and roll, so you got the number to my soul, and you can call me up anytime you wanna dance.
It is amazing how much cleaner it feels here with all the random clutter and scattered stuff all cleaned up. Just really leaning into that spring cleaning vibe. And now that that's done, we can take ourselves over to our to-do list here. We can grab, I did make some dye ahead of time here. And we can check off base cleanup here and make ourselves feel real good for getting something checked off our list. But we can't be done there because there's lots to do today. I don't know how many of these items we're going to get to in this episode, but I'm sure going to try to get to as many as I can. We might spend a little bit of time laying out some pathways around our base because I think our base would really benefit from it. There's lots of really cool focus points kind of happening throughout the base, but right now they feel pretty disjointed and kind of on their own, and I think some pathways would really help to connect them all. As far as my general plans for expanding this base, I think we're generally going to go through and over to this area here up on that new cliffside that I've sort of terraformed out. I think we will have some farms and stuff like that I have planned to expand to that direction as well, to our southwest. But I think the immediate plans are more focused on going north and then also making some pathways that'll connect between myself and Liam over there. But I think having some kind of main pathway right along here makes a lot of sense. It will sort of drag you past the landmarks we've built so far with our custom trees here in this beachhead. And I think a path right through the middle here will do a good job of sort of framing our base a little bit better and just like really defining the boundaries of where our space even is in this area. You can see from the view in front of us, as well as the state of our very, very cluttered inventory, we got a lot done. It is really remarkable how something as simple as a path like this can really transform an entire space. Functionally, this path will connect our northern and southern parts of our base here, but you can also see that it's given us a lot of excuses for some visual storytelling and things like this. Like we put this boardwalk here instead of just having a boring basic path here. And I really like that it sort of reinforces this sort of marshy, mucky vibe we're going for. That, we have a boardwalk that has to kind of go over the mud so that you don't step in it and get sucked in. This area over here might be one of my favorite parts of this entire thing here. It's such a little detail in the grand scheme of things, and you're never going to like interact with this, right? It's just meant to be here to sell the biome a bit more. But I think it's a really pretty space, and I can totally imagine what this would look like in real life with the cattails and stuff everywhere. You can't see through the water very well because the floor is all murky and gross. The only difference with ours here is that, we have things like this warp route and whatnot to make it have more of that alien aesthetic, since we want to kind of feel like we've crash landed here on a bit of a strange alien planet that we're not super familiar with. As a part of gradually making this space better and better, I've also been going through and replacing the parts underneath the water with mud, just because, again, I think the mud really sells the aesthetic that we're going for in this area much better than the dirt does. And I think there's times where dirt or grass is what we're going to want in this space, but yeah, I'm really enjoying having kind of these muddy banks that sort of just blend into these areas where I've sort of dithered the water in and out of the grass here, and then added some leaves and things like that to look like debris and just kind of the dead stuff that you would generally find in like more of a pond water ecosystem and the stuff that collects around the edges. All in all, I think these are some really fantastic additions to our base here and have really helped define the look that we're going for this season. I feel like I'm falling into this sort of category of like Space Rancher and maybe kind of a touch of like Solar Punk, but like Solar Punk expressed in more of like a swamp environment, and I think that's kind of interesting. And I think I want to lean into that a little bit more as we continue to prove out what this area is going to look like as the season continues. But now we're going to go ahead and take a break from building to actually help out our neighbor in need. We are here in the perimeter again, mining some obsidian to help out Renee, because it turns out that obsidian actually doesn't do so well with flying machines and kind of breaks the whole World Eater system a little bit. So I figured I'd help him out and get some obsidian at the same time, but boy, I gotta tell you, it's real stressful doing this digging under a World Eater. I've been assured that the TNT shouldn't drop lower than that upper level there, since that's the current level that it is blowing up, but I don't think that makes it any less, unnerving being under the TNT as it's exploding like, 10, 15 blocks above your head. So that's fun. Oh. So you can see, yeah, it's just blowing up at the Y level, so it does one level of material at a time. Crazy. And eventually, those are going to work their way down to here at this level, and then that's when the obsidian will be a problem. And you can actually see if we fly into free cam here, this is a lot of lava, and it's definitely more than one layer. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge. Oh, hi, diamonds. That's going to be a lot of obsidian that has to be mined out by hand, or lava that has to be removed prior. Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to feel more natural. Oh, look, we've gone from one hole to another. We're here kind of over on the edge of our base because this is where we're going to be building the wheat farm building today, is in this general space here. And I wanted to do some just general terrain prepping and stuff like that by filling in this space while we just had a little discussion, a little chat, a little sit down. This is now episode 5 of our Rotten Block series since we started back in, I think, February. And I just wanted to kind of, do some thinking on how that's been going and just how I've been feeling about it. And it's been really fun. I obviously really enjoy my Braze World series, and I do want to go back to that at some point. I have some really fun ideas for builds that I'm really excited to build there as well. But I've also been really enjoying this element of community that I get out of being able to hang out with all the people here on the Rotten Block server. And I hope that the amount of fun and camaraderie that I'm experiencing personally is coming through in the videos, because really a big part of being able to film in this world and do this series is I'm having fun telling this story, but I'm also really hoping that I'm successful in bringing you guys along for the ride and that you're also enjoying that story. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of an experiment in the works, in the making, collectively changing episode to episode as I'm just sort of figuring things out and having fun playing Minecraft and telling the story. I think for me, doing this SMP with Rotten Block really provides a unique experience of camaraderie and fun, and I think it really challenges me to try some bigger projects and to be surrounded by other Minecrafters who are also doing really cool big projects. You get inspired by how they build and their ideas, and I think it's just a lot more fun of an environment to be building in. Even though, of course, I still will always love my single-player world and, have no plans of stopping that anytime soon. It's just taking a bit of a back seat as we're exploring this new multiplayer experience and what it has to offer us as well. Now, if you guys have any feedback on, like, your favorite parts, things you've loved seeing in the episodes, things you would like to see more of, I'd truly love to hear your feedback in the comments below. I always appreciate receiving feedback when it's stuff that I can, improve upon, I can learn from. That's really helpful for me. So if you've got a burning question deep inside your heart, let me know. Leave it down in the questions in the comments down below, and I would love to read them. Now, conveniently for our plans today, we both need a lot of oak leaves, and we actually need to get all of these trees out of this area so that ultimately we can terraform this area and, give it a new fresh coat of paint with custom trees and custom foliage and whatnot. It's going to be great. Hello. So, with my trusty axe here in hand, let's get to work. Alright, everybody, after the better part of about 2.5 hours, you can see we have a lot less forests, and we have a lot more shulker boxes full of leaves. I did initially start out by cutting down the entire tree, but then I thought it might be fun to see what the forest looked like just bare of its leaves, with all of the roots and all of the trees, trunks and whatnot, that's what they're called, trunks, left in place, just to see just how big this place really was. And you can see it looks like a logging community, right? Came through and just totally got wiped out here. It was just fun. Oh, also we have a giant new neighbor, thanks to Liam. So that's fun. But yeah, this was, I don't know what I expected as far as like how long it would take to do a space like this, but 2.5 hours doesn't feel like a too terrible waste of our time. And yeah, we ended up getting something like 13 shulker boxes of leaves here, which we will absolutely be putting to good use in our custom forest that we are either going to be building in today's episode or the next one. I really like the addition of leaf litter blocks to the game because I think they add a lot of nice utility to being able to like blend colors and stuff like that. I know people use them for rugs and things like that, and they just look really cool. But boy, it makes it a real pain when you overhaul an entire forest like this, because I am not looking forward to having to clean up all of this here. I'll definitely come through with my trusty water bucket, but it's still going to take a good amount of time and effort. But at the same time, maybe the problem will just take care of itself when I'm terraforming and whatnot. So, maybe I'm worrying for absolutely nothing. Now, during that whole deforesting process, you saw probably from the time lapse that we did end up breaking a hoe at the very beginning, and then I had to repair my new hoe probably 3 different times in our makeshift XP farm before we finally finished. And that was just in a 2-hour time span. And it's really got me wanting to, get our tools upgraded, because this 1500 usability or whatever, the durability on tools, it's just not cutting it. So maybe it's time to return to our to-do board and see if we can check something else off of our list. Taking a look here at our tool upgrades, where we can go through the nether and see if we can find some netherite. And I don't know if we're going to be able to find a netherite upgrade template. We can either do some adventuring, or we can go pester our neighbors and see if they can offer one up. Whoa! Whoa! Shoot! No! That was sudden and chaotic. I don't think I've showed this on camera so much, by the way. I love this Basalt Deltas biome. Usually it's a really annoying biome to, get through because of how crazy the variation in height is. But especially with the nether fog turned down and you can see more of the nether at one time, it's cool how expansive and different this biome is from any of the other biomes in the game. And I think it gets a bad rap for some valid reasons, but, I don't know. There's a charm and a beauty to it as well. Alright, Buster, you're here to make my life difficult. I see how it is. Oh. Yeah. Good call, buddy. Good call. Ooh. I don't know if I ever noticed that before, but I'm pretty sure that's a bastion right there. I built this for some reason early on, before we had elytra and stuff like that, which is why it's a single pillar across a very, very long, treacherous bit of terrain. Yeah, so I've been through here a couple times, and I never noticed that bastion. I'm definitely going to want to go raid that, especially if we're still looking for our netherite template in a second. I see that we are now closer to the bastion here, where we can definitely see that it's in 2 pieces, and it looks like it's probably been unraided, considering there is still gold pretty obviously there. I see a chest. Wait, and I just realized that's not even the same one we just saw, because there's another one right there. So I feel like our chances of finding a netherite template between the 2 of them is probably pretty good, considering I don't think anyone's been out to either one of them. Amazing find. That's awesome. I'm in a pretty treacherous position right now, and I figured it'd probably be wise, oh god, if I was recording, just in case something inevitably went wrong. I've got rockets and elytra, so I'm not, like, you know, totally screwed and stuck, but it's kind of ridiculous to have a live gas just flying over you while you're digging literally at lava level in the nether. So I think I chose basically the worst route possible to getting down to where the ancient debris is, because I mostly dug right where there was like lava lakes and whatnot. But I think hopefully we can find some solid, you know, netherrack to dig through here to get down to the right Y level. All right, here goes nothing. Fire in the hole. Hey, immediately. Oh, shoot. I guess I'll have to work on the spacing of my TNT just a little bit. Yep. Okay, so even just from this little stretch of tunnel here, you can see we found 2 there. We found that one that was right at the beginning there. And I bet you there's a couple that'll find, like, in nooks and crannies and whatnot, as we're digging things out. I'm also glad we're exposing all of this quartz, because you can see I'm actually trying to collect as much of that as I can as well, because that's going to be a pretty prominent building material for me. So let's mine our first one to get that sweet, sweet advancement. Ah, oh, that was anticlimactic. Get that sweet advancement. First try. Nice. All right, now let's see how many more we can get. Ah, that was gonna hurt. Okay. Come on, we just need at least one more, and then we can get one netherite at least to show for our efforts. Nice. Oh, wow, that's a good find. That's one ingot all right there on its own. Certainly not going to complain about that. Although I might complain if I still don't find one more so that I can then have 2 ingots. Let's hope with our 18 TNT that we have left, we can expose at least one more, or maybe just do a little bit of digging. I guess we can do some manual labor as well, but not before we exhaust all of our other options first. So let's go ahead and use up the remaining TNT we have here, and we'll see what we find. Alright, we're going to have to run deep for this one because I did a couple of extra branches, but fire in the hole for the last time. See you guys. Good luck. Well, did a whole lot of something for a whole lot of nothing. Looks like. Sometimes I find that when you find these big pockets of gravel, they can be really satisfying to clean up with your shovel, and then they do seem to reveal a debris or two, I think just because of how much surface area they expose once you break them. Looks like we didn't get lucky today, though. But I like doing that. It's satisfying and generally successful. What the heck? See, this is what I mean, is that they can just randomly be underneath gravel sometimes. Now, with that, we have officially found 8 pieces of debris, which will give us 2 ingots for our netherite tools. I'll probably pop those on my pickaxe and my sword first. That's typically the way I go first, but we'll have to see about that. I do feel a little bad about walking away from this excursion with only 2 pieces of netherite, so we're going to do a little bit more mining, and I'll probably go make more TNT as well. And maybe we can get a few more ingots worth of ancient debris for our tools. I'm going to do some real obnoxious branch mining now for a little bit, and we'll see what we can come up with. In the meantime, here's a little clip with me and Renee doing a special deal on some frog lights. Renee actually contacted us about doing a special order of purple frog lights, the pearlescent ones specifically. So I've got my trusty 3 shulker boxes here, and we're going to head off to the farm to fill these up. Oh, another sign? Okay. So we'll go ahead and see just how many purple ones we have, but it's possible we might have to end up AFKing a little bit in order to actually get the resources that we need here. But maybe not, because that's 1 shulker box full already. And there's the second one. And just like that, we now have 3 whole shulker boxes of pearlescent frog lights. I know I made a joke about math being hard in my last episode. I could probably fill at least, like, I don't know, 4 shulker boxes of each thing after... I said 4 shulker boxes. That's ridiculous. That's like so undershooting the amount of shulker boxes I can fill that I didn't even think about it clearly. I think there's like 45 double chests here, and since a shulker box is half of a double chest, I guess it would technically be something like 90 shulker boxes that we could break all this down into if all these chests were full. So that's pretty nuts. All right, we're going to quickly head over to Renee's to do the handoff for, I think we're getting 16 blocks of diamonds for these guys. Renee, are you here somewhere? Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? I heard you wanted some frog lights.
Yeah, so the thing is that I'm not sure if you've seen this little thing over here.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it. It's grown significantly actually since I last saw it, but this is ridiculous. And you think that these guys here are going to cover the entirety of that
Yeah.
here? My farm's doing really well, so if you end up needing any more of this in the end, you just let me know and I'll hook you up.
Yeah, sure. So we talked about a bit of a discount, right? The thing is, I am a bit broke right now, as you might be able to see.
Sure, right, yes. Yes, poor Renee. Poor Renee has no diamonds whatsoever. It must be so hard being you.
Yeah. I'm down less than 9 stacks of diamond bucks.
But I fear that anytime that there's a perimeter, it totally just wrecks the economy on the server.
Yeah, I did talk to Nick about that, about like inflation and stuff.
Okay, yeah. So I think if we looked at just the raw cost of that, it would be 18 diamonds, and then yeah, I think we talked about 16 diamonds as a nice little discount.
Oh, 16 diamonds. Okay.
Oh,
16 diamonds. Okay, let me just convert these.
Uh-oh. I may have shot myself in the
That's what I call a
foot.
discount.
That's funny. No, I'm being nice. You got to be nice to me. It's the rules.
I kid. Yeah. It is the rules. But yeah, I've also spent some time cleaning up some of the edges, removing some of the lava. Just getting it all a bit nicer.
Oh, it's so sad watching the diamonds disappear every time. I'm like, as they're loading, I'm seeing it do like the slicing through the ground, and I can see them all just disappearing.
Yeah, Liam also said that. I did
It's so
actually,
funny.
while I was setting up the schematic, I did find a diamond all over here.
Well, you start recuperating all the costs you just paid for the frog lights. All right, welcome back everyone from our little commerce break with Renee. Wanted to give you guys a little update on just how our mining trip went for ancient debris. We did a lot. We're pretty successful actually, which is pretty crazy. That was actually the first time that I've ever done that with TNT really, and I wasn't sure what to expect about how easy it would be to find ancient debris using TNT, especially for how expensive TNT can be with sand and gunpowder. But I mean, if those are the results, I think this is probably going to be my go-to method from now on, considering we found about 42 scrap on, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that will be enough combined with our gold here for exactly 10 ingots. And you can see here I've got 9 pieces laid out. So we'll be able to do all of our armor and tools and even still have a netherite ingot left over afterwards that we can, I guess, use for our chest plate for those rare occasions where we're going to want to be fully suited up and not be wearing our elytra. I also wanted to mention that I totally found a few more gravel pits while I was digging for ancient debris, and digging them out did net me a couple more ancient debris, at least once or twice more, so that's totally a valid strategy, and I'm going to patent that for sure. Now, these 10 netherite ingots obviously go a very long way to getting our tools and armor upgraded, but they're effectively useless without the netherite upgrade template. Those 2 bastions we found today are obvious potential candidates to go and find our own netherite template, but I think they're going to have to wait until our next episode, as we are getting a bit long in the tooth for this one. That's an expression I've literally never used before. Now, we obviously had a pretty ambitious laundry list of things to do for this episode here, and even though I think we didn't get to everything here, with our beacons and completing our wheat farm and the storage cleanup especially, I think the work we did do to do our base cleanup and our pathing, as well as the start to the tool upgrades, which reminds me, let's go ahead and, we got that in progress, right? I think the work that we did do effectively makes this episode a very good spring cleaning episode and a sort of reset for this area, as there were lots of mobs and chests and random junk just kind of everywhere that ultimately eventually gets in the way of progress and getting this area into the final vision that we want to create. So while we didn't tackle everything that we wanted to today, I think these are really good things to tackle to set us up for success in the future. Not to mention that we also totally deforested this entire area here, which is going to be a necessary step for not only collecting oak leaves, but as well as getting this area cleared out and terraformable. It's a word I just decided to make up. Now, since we're going to be tackling all of that in our next episode, I think unfortunately that means that our time today is coming to a close. But as a little sneak peek, maybe against my better judgment, what if I just, just kind of toggled things on for just a second there, so you can get some spoilers for what we're going to be tackling in the next episode for sure. Did I say taggled? I swear I meant to say toggled, but I think it came out taggled. And I've never said it that way, I swear. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the journey today to get a little bit more organized and just a little bit more cleaned up around our base here. As I said before, I think that's going to be incredibly helpful to making sure that the projects we do going forward can happen seamlessly and efficiently without having to constantly deal with the clutter and stuff like that happening around the base. Now, if you enjoyed your stay here today, a like and a comment on the video would go a long way to supporting me. And if you want more content like this, thankfully I've already got 4 other episodes that came out before this, as well as a handful of episodes in my single player series that are there for you to enjoy. If you had a good time, just definitely know there's more where that came from, and you should definitely subscribe to make sure you don't miss any shenanigans in the future. But with all that typical YouTuber housekeeping out of the way, just want to thank you guys so much for joining us today, and for just taking the time to be here and engaging with my content and the story that I'm telling. It truly does mean the world to me, and I don't know if I could thank you guys enough for the support that you show me episode to episode. But that's going to go ahead and do it for us for our episode today. I'm excited to continue on our base in the next episode. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time on